between the start date, which is evaluation date, and the end date, which should be 1, plus 1 for the next years. The terminal value. I'd like to add in the model the possibility of using the mid-year convention. The mid-year convention basically states that you don't make the future cash flow, the free cash flow at the end of the year, but during all the year. So it is an approach extremely fitting to companies that operates in anti-cyclical business, which means that they make the company operating in non-cyclical business generates free cash flows during all over the year. There is no seasonality. So let me add the possibility of using the mid-year convention, just making and just inserting a data validation over here. ID, perfect. Okay, so if yes, let's now plus if this is equal to yes, then I want this divided by 2. Otherwise, I want this here frac. Okay, 0.5. Okay, perfect. Let's now set the mid-year convention on the discount factor. You just have to do 1 divided by 1 plus GG. We're going to block. Okay, so obviously it is 1 because we still have no WACC. Okay, perfect. And the present value should be this times plus self. Perfect. The present value of the free cash flow will be the sum of this. The terminal value, I'm going to use the Gordon formula for estimating the terminal value, which basically it is the free cash flow from operation of the last year of the explicit period multiplied by 1 plus growth rate, the long-term growth rate, divided by WHH minus growth rate. Okay, this is the formula. Let's now discount the date of valuation the terminal value. Okay, so for the surplus asset, maybe we can do this later. Okay, let's do it now. So the surplus asset is basically are all the assets that the company owns, which are related to its operations. So they are not they're not financial assets, and are assets whose cash flows does not are not part of the free cash flow from operations. For instance, generally you account as surplus assets all the lands that a company owns, but that are not put under lease, under rent. Um, Another example of surplus assets are all the not net operating losses. But if you want a more detailed video about the most used surplus assets or what a surplus asset is, leave a comment. I can make a short video about it. So in this case, I've decided to consider as a surplus asset the land and buildings that Apple has recorded on its financial statement. So basically, I've just get the gross data. I've calculated the incidence of each one of these assets over the total. This is should return a 1. Okay. I have weighted the accumulated depreciation mm, by each of these assets, and then I've computed the net land and buildings. This is not much academical, but it could be an interesting mm, makeshift to get the net land and building amount. So let's now link this, and our enterprise value will be this plus this plus this. Okay. Okay, the net financial position, the valuation date is basically this one, the financial debt minus the cash. In this case, obviously, considering that the company is Apple, so it is not I mean, it's quite not abnormal. We have more cash than financial debt, which means that our equity value will be higher than if considering the positive effect of our cash. Okay, let's now define. Let's go before we have our terminal value, and then we can go to model our weighted average cost of capital. It will take a bit more time. So for the terminal value, let me hide this. We don't need that anymore. For the terminal value, I'd like to start from our EBIT and but I don't want just to take the last year. I would like to add this model the opportunity of considering also the average of the past 2 or 3 years. So I'm going to go to developer, insert form controls. Okay. Okay. So now let me do plus choose. If you want to know which are the most used Excel formula shortcut for Excel, let me know that and I can make a video about that. Average 28 and the average of 27, 29. Perfect. Here, let me make, I don't know, 27, 29, 100. Okay, perfect. Let's remain to the last year. The taxes. Let's okay. It's the same. The HBS. Okay. Mm, about this section, I'd like to the change in net working capital is 0. Same for the funds. For the CapEx and D&A, let's do that. And for the share-based compensation, the last year, okay, let me add a bit of prudence. I don't want to take the last year, but the past 3 years. Okay. So we're going to have 100.7. Why this is negative? The share outstanding. Okay. September. I mean, just went on Google and looked for the share outstanding of Apple at the evaluation date, which means at the end of September 2023, and the share outstanding are 15. Okay. Which means that I should obviously let's remove. Okay, but let me. Okay, this divided by this. Okay, let's now model. Okay, so obviously here you see basically negative price per share just because we need to model before our weighted average cost of capital. So we go on the weighted average cost of capital. Okay, so this is the formula for the weighted average cost of capital. Okay, so about the debt, the cost of debt, okay, so I would like to model this into different ways. I'd like to give you the opportunity to choose between the specific cost of debt of the company and the cost of debt of the, I mean, sector. So, let's now write over there, company and Damodaran market. Okay. Okay, so about the company, bring this sheet into our model. So let's go on plus industry average Damodaran. Okay, so Control Control C, Alt ES O, Alt ES T. Okay, so we have file. I'm not going to bring this file into the model because this file is quite heavy. F Apple and flavor Apple ink. Okay, so this belongs to the industry computers and peripherals. Okay, so let's go to computer and peripherals. Okay, the cost of debt, the average cost of debt of the computer and peripherals industry is 5.5. So let me link this. This is obviously a pre-tax cost of debt. And like so insert developer form controls, insert form controls. Okay, let's now format control input range company at Damodaran, selling. Okay, which means that company and Damodaran. Perfect. So plus choose this company and Damodaran. Okay. Okay. Tax rate, we have it on our general input section. Let's now compute the post-tax cost of debt, which is 3%. For the risk-free rate, we should look at the yield of the 10 years US Treasury.